On this week's episode of The Grid, we have a Ask Me Anything episode where you guys can ask us anything. And we're going to be joined a little bit by a slightly tardy Scott Kelby. And it all starts in about 30 seconds.
The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com.
Well, hey, welcome Grid Nation. I'm Erik Kuna. I'm joined here with an empty set over there, and hopefully in a second it will be filled by the host of the show, Scott Kelby. He's held up by a lot of Tampa traffic. We got really bad traffic around here, so he's probably held up with that. And but this is an Ask Me Anything episode, so you guys can ask us anything. This is one of those times where if there's those gear questions, setting questions, location questions, if you want to know usually about food, we're pretty good knowledgeable about like places to eat. We're knowledgeable about, I don't know, we both have electric cars. We can talk about that. Whatever you guys want to talk about. So just ask us anything, hopefully about photography, but we'll answer about anything. So while we're waiting for Scott, we do have a couple of things going on. So we have coming up the Portrait Photography Conference, which is going to be huge. I'm really excited about this one. It's not something that I'm teaching at, but I tend to, I love these conferences because you learn so much from watching other people and how they operate and how they work. I know I learn a lot, even in my style of photography, from just watching some of these people and what they do. Especially, I mean, there's things like Hilmar's doing this class on branding and stuff like that. So if you're into branding, into like creating a personal brand, you're going to be doing that. And Joe McNally's doing a class on natural window light, which I'm really excited about because his photography always blows me away. So definitely check that out over at kelby1live.com. You can sign up over there. The other thing is we're giving away some prizes today. We've got the Platypod multi-accessory kit. We're giving that away to one lucky fan of the Grid here. And then also we're going to be, that same person's getting 50% off anything in the Platypod store. So there you go. And then also we're going to be giving away DxO's Nick Collection 4. So we're giving that away on the show as well. Awesome Nick collection, been using that for years. It's a staple. And then a newcomer for me on the game that we're going to be giving away is ON1's No Noise AI, which I've been playing around with a lot. Kind of going between that and a couple other softwares that I use for noise reduction. I will say this about ON1 No Noise. It is really good, but it is, where it shines, it is super, super fast. Like incredibly fast. And then we're going to be giving away Scott's Lightroom 7-point system book. So right here. So in a second, we might see him walk by, and this is the guy who wrote that book that we're going to be giving it away. So beyond that, if you guys have any questions for us, just ask in the chat. If you guys want to win a prize, just comment in the chat. What would you like to win? Share this with your friends. Basically, just anything that you can do to comment about the show, and we'll pick that up and announce the winners at the end of the show. I think beyond that, I did a couple weeks ago go to South Dakota for a couple days, and I know we were talking about this on an earlier episode in the Grid, we just didn't have time. Did do a little bit of shooting. I was just there, and for me, I do a lot of Milky Way photography, a lot of landscape photography, but I only had like a sunset and a short window with the Milky Way because the moon, the almost full moon was rising. So, but still was able to get some stuff. So over in the Badlands, here's a shot from the Badlands. This was our sunset. It was really it was a great, well, this is during twilight. That's when I love to shoot, is that twilight soft light hour. What's great about the Badlands, I will say, this is my first time going there, is how accessible it is. This spot here was about 100 yards from my car. So for me, that's nothing. That's like just walking. It's walking to the end of the parking lot and out and down a path and all that. So very easy and accessible. Reminded me a lot about like Iceland. Here's another one where we were setting up for a Milky Way shot later, which you'll see, and I was able to capture sunset, and those clouds burnt off right with the forecast, so that was great. And then I went over to the Black Hills, and there's Bear Butte in the background, so I had this light with the fields and kind of just got down very low, kind of leading you over to Bear Butte. And then we were shooting at this antique kind of, actually that same place we were doing the Bear Butte shoot, and this old schoolhouse was there. We had the epic clouds. I have a bunch of those clouds now in my cloud replacement or my sky replacement folder because I just spent about 20 minutes at that location just shooting different clouds around. And then Milky Way. Here was a shot from the Milky Way over a overlook at Badlands National Park. Again, this spot was probably 100 feet from my car, which was really, really crazy, 100 feet from the car. And then here was one where we went into the Windows Trail, walked in the Windows Trail, did some light painting on the foreground, and then the Milky Way, that's all one exposure. These are all one exposure shots, but painting with the Milky Way, I've got a Lytra Pro light up on a stand about 200 feet away from me to the left, casting that light on all the rocks in the front, balanced with the Milky Way. So that's where you get that kind of like perspective. And then we were able to do this, where we were able to light a barn over in Sturgis, South Dakota. So we lit the barn again with a Lytra, a couple Lytra Pro lights inside there, and then one outside. And then that's actually blended as well with the moonlight that was coming up right afterwards. And then another one from an overlook, again, 100 feet from the car in Badlands National Park. And then that was the same shot of Bear Butte. After the moon had rose, I let that light the whole landscape. So the moon illuminated the landscape. You can still see the Milky Way kind of peering through there. That was just about at the tail end where we were able to capture any detail. 5 minutes after this, that moon was so bright it just washed out everything. So anyways, now, so yeah, that was a trip. We just a couple days, come in, come out, and was able to capture some really cool stuff. So I was happy to be able to do that. Sometimes you go up there, you plan all that stuff, and then you get clouds or you get bad weather, like happened to me this last weekend. So that was fun. But yeah. So joining us in the studio, as we were talking about, probably magically appearing over on his set in a second. There he is. Boom.
So I'm at home, and we've got the portrait photography conference coming up in a few weeks. So I'm working on my stuff. It's to put together. I've got 4 classes. So to put together all of this, I'm working on stuff, and I'm heads down. I'm like going and going, and I'm really being productive. I'm having a great morning. My phone rings, and this is my friend Paul, and I look at it. And I see the time, and I went, Paul, I gotta go. I'm late for the grid. Now, my daughter thinks this is literally the funniest thing that could possibly happen.
Oh, of course, of course.
She thinks it is. She is on the floor. She is just, oh my gosh, she's just dying. So anyway, I'm running a little late today, but luckily, in my steed, Erik Kuna, the Kuna man, Kuna, the Rocket Man. Hey, did you see? William Shatner went to space.
Yeah, William Shatner went to space this morning.
90 years old.
90, oldest person in space.
And I watched the launch. I watched it.
Yeah, they did. They went into space for a few minutes.
They had an unusual shape to that spaceship.
It is just very unusual.
It's unusual. And Erik,
reminds me of an Austin Powers
correct me
movie.
if I'm wrong, but they went to the edge of space,
and then
turn around,
right back
and came
down.
right back.
Yes, that's exactly what they did.
Don't go to space.
Just to the edge.
Go to the edge of space.
Just kiss it.
Turn around and come right back.
Yep.
The dream of every astronaut to almost go to space. Anyway.
So we've already gone over, like, we talked about this Ask Me Anything episode.
Yes,
Ask
that's
us
today.
anything. I told them, anything from photography to we know food and all this stuff. So,
oh, man, I got some good food stuff, too.
I mean, we'll talk about White Castle
I've got a good
burgers,
food
right?
tip I'm going to give whether anyone asks or not.
Chicken sandwiches, whatever.
Oh, no. I did try a new chicken sandwich.
Oh, yeah?
In the chicken sandwich
I told
wars.
you guys.
Culver's has a chicken sandwich. You know, Culver's
Yes,
is a
I know
chain from
Culver's,
Wisconsin
yes.
that's spreading out,
Yes.
and it was not bad. It was
Not bad.
I mean,
Culver's,
it wasn't. It,
Culver's is that.
but
for
Culver's
me.
is better than Wendy's, and it's way
Yes.
better than Wendy's. Better than McDonald's. Better than a
Yes.
lot of places. Not better than Burger King. You know, I don't like Burger King at all, but I swear their chicken sandwich is incredible.
Yeah,
It
that's
is like
amazing.
among the best, and that's
So there you go.
that's saying a lot.
And then we went over the prizes, and
Oh,
now
great. Well,
we
you
went over
guys are-
some images I shot, and
You
here
guys
we
are
are.
working hard. All right. Well, great. So we've got some questions coming in. As Eric told you, it is open Q&A day. We'll start with one here from Carmen. So Carmen says, and this is a really good question to start
Yeah.
off the day. Would you still recommend buying a drone? I would love to have one, but I'm not sure with more and more places, the national parks and everything, not allowing them. What is your thought? Mr. Kuna?
So my thought is, I think right now for me, it is more difficult than it is fun to have a drone, because you do have to check places you go, especially like you said, national parks, off limits. In fact, they're really strict in that they'll fine you later if they see a video posted with and figure out you didn't have approval. Like, it's very strict. A lot of state parks are starting to do it. Pretty much any business that, is trying to protect their property or something like that. So it's very limited on the places you can do it legally. Now, I was in a national park this weekend. Somebody was illegally flying their drone. That doesn't mean that
Doesn't mean they didn't have a permit.
no, well,
possible.
they didn't, because I asked, and they didn't. But I said, well, where are you going to use that? Because I'm curious, where are you going to use that video? Because if you do, they do come after you. I've heard horror stories about it and seen firsthand, they will come after you with that stuff. So
Oh yeah,
it's
and
it's really not worth it.
They're serious about it.
Now, where it is worth it is if you are going to get into it and go through the training, get certified,
Yep.
be able to go get approvals. So you can go through the process if you go to a national park to get the approvals. It is a lot easier than it used to be.
Yes.
It used to be in fact, the whole process for photographers, this is a little off subject, but the whole process for photographers to gain a permit in a national park is pretty much revolutionized recently. I don't know if a lot of people know this, but it used to be you'd have to go through, have $1 million insurance policy. You had to have a fee that you paid, which was actually pretty steep, and you had to itemize out everything you were doing, because they treated it like you're doing a big shoot. And what happened now is they've really simplified that process to where if you're just a photographer, it's not really a big deal anymore.
Yeah, I agree with Mr. Kuna. Everywhere you go now, there's a no drone sign. Been to all over Europe, everywhere, all these places that a few years ago, you can't really fly a drone in. The only time that, if you're doing commercial, we fly a drone when we are going to do a class or something, if we're doing shooting on location. But then we have a pilot that has the FAA authorization. We get permission. We go into that app and we let the air traffic control know.
Yes.
It's really, he said it's a pain in the butt. Let's move on. I have a hard time telling somebody to go buy a drone unless they're going to fly it on their own property.
Correct.
Next is Stephen wants to know, pretty curious about backups and what you all use. I have a mirrored 8 terabyte plus Backblaze, but I'm getting to the end of my 8 terabytes. I need more storage. So, Stephen, I write about this pretty regularly on lightroomkillertips.com, but I'll tell you that I have a large Drobo, and when I get to the end of my, it warns you. It actually says you're getting low on storage, and then literally you slide out a drive, you slide out a 4 terabyte. You slide in an 8 terabyte, and you can get internal drives so cheap. If you just want to buy an internal hard drive, an 8 terabyte internal hard drive, it costs nothing. Let's go find out. Eric, will you find out what's an 8 terabyte internal drive?
Yeah.
But you just slide it in, and it works wonders. Now, years and years ago, I had a very bad experience with Drobo, and I was done, and it was a bad scene. Since then, they changed the policy that made it a bad scene, and they have new management, and I met with them years ago, and they're like, give us another try, and they explained why it's better and how they fixed all their things, and they did. It wasn't so much technical stuff, but their support stuff. I haven't had a single problem. I've got 2 units, one at the office. All right, here we go. Look at this. This is an 8 terabyte internal drive. and it is
169
bucks. So if you've got an 8 terabyte, if you want to double it, it's 169 bucks. Now go see what a 4 terabyte is, because you could take a 4 terabyte is 74 bucks.
Yeah.
Wow. So they're getting to be really all right. And then on the other side of that, I do backblaze. So I have backblaze. So I've got one at the office. I've got one at home. I got backblaze backing up everything. So there's some redundancy there, but that's it.
Yeah.
All right. One question for Mr. Kuna. Mr. Kuna, what's your favorite food to eat when you're shooting the Milky Way?
So my favorite food is probably not to eat, honestly. I don't, and I'll tell you why. Usually we're out in very remote environments and situations to, go to the bathroom a lot of times. So you're eating and drinking, like you're not doing that as much because you're out in the wilderness, right? So that's the one thing I tend not to, in all seriousness. Now, if I do, it tends to be like things like trail mix or something simple like that. I'm not complex when it comes to that.
Okay, I'm going to turn you on to a food thing, and I'm going to tell you it's going to change your life. I'm about to show you something. I'm going to show it on screen here in just a second, and this will change a whole segment of your life for the better.
Okay.
It doesn't have carbs of any consequence. It's fairly low in calorie, but I'm telling you what. I don't care what you put this on, it makes it 1,000 times better. All right. So I want to talk directly, though, to people, to sheeple. Hi, sheeple. To people. That's our thing now at the house. We all call each other sheeple. I'm like, good morning, sheeple. Anyway, this thing, I'm going to show you. I was going to show you, I'm going to go into, it's on screen. Take a look. Ready? This is the greatest thing ever. Blow your mind kind of thing. Can you see my screen? I'm connected. This stuff right here. It is Locatelli grated Pecorino Romano cheese. Guys, this is not cheap stuff. I kid you not. Now, one tub of this from Publix, that's where I get it. You can probably get it someplace cheaper, but it is literally like $8. Now, you got to realize it's going to last you. It's a tub of cheese. It's going to last a while. This is a whole nother level of cheese I never knew existed. And I was at this restaurant in New York, and they had the greatest grated cheese I'd ever had. And so I just asked the guy, what is this stuff? It's like, because I grew up on Kraft grated cheese. And once you have this, you'll go, I thought Kraft grated cheese was good. This stuff is unbelievable. This is the greatest thing I've ever, you could put this on breakfast cereal, it would be good. It's just the greatest stuff. I'm telling you, but you got to get this brand, because I've tried other Pecorino Romanos. No. Do not get those. It has to be genuine Locatelli brand, grated Pecorino Romano.
I said it'll always go back to food.
Yeah.
We're always going to go back to food.
Because food's one of the greatest things about living.
That's going to happen.
And this makes your life better. Guys, I'm telling you, you're going to be sending me notes. You're going to be sending me emails and DMing me saying, Scott, I got that
the Culver's chicken sandwich was just okay, but that cheese.
This stuff.
Oh.
It could make the Culver's chicken sandwich good.
Yeah.
No, the Culver's chicken sandwich is
sprinkle it
not
on
bad.
the top, boom.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you. You put it in soups. You put it on any kind of pasta. You put it on salads. I'm telling you, that stuff is ridiculous.
All right. Well,
I tried many to
go.
get to this one. I tried all the, okay.
So John's asking, what's the best 4K monitor for editing aside for Apple's really expensive $5,000 XDR display? What would you say?
Oh, it's got to be the come on, I have one. Benq. BENQ.
Yeah.
BENQ makes a monitor that is great. But I want to tell you something about monitors, all right? So we're just,
I hope you would go there.
Hey, we're just, going back. No, I want to tell you something. Let's say that you get your monitor totally nailed. Like you got it's nailed.
I know where you're going.
It's on the money, and it looks fantastic. You are the last person that will ever see it looking like that.
Yep.
Because the entire rest of the world is going to see it on their monitor. And if you ever really want to see what the rest of the world's going to look like, go to Best Buy and stand in the back of the computer monitor section and there's
Just
50
look.
monitors, and they're all different. This one's too red, this one's too green, this one's too dark, this one's too bright, this one's contrasty, this one's not. You have zero control when it leaves your computer. So you can make it look perfect for you, but no one will ever see it like that but you. You and the other person with the bank monitor.
Now the one thing that I will say that I've been doing lately, in years I've been doing this, is I kind of get my monitor looking like my iPad and like my iPhone, right?
But wait a minute. That was the other point I was going to make.
Yeah.
The second point of this is, I talk in my classes on printing about printing calibration and calibrating your monitor. And in the class, I tell you, look, if you've got a PC, you got to get you got to buy a hardware monitor. I recommend a couple different ones, the X-Rite, the Data Color, and I go through the Spider and all that. And I talk about all that stuff. But honestly, if you are on a Mac, without doing anything to your Mac, in fact, I would almost tell you don't calibrate your Mac.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The Mac monitors, I don't care whether it's across a phone or across an iPad or an iMac or a Mac Mini or whatever. If you have an Apple brand monitor connected, it is startlingly
That's
on
what
the
I'm
money.
saying is I'm trying to get this one's contrast and this one's contrast just a little tuned, but what I'll do is just go check it on the iPad, go check it on the iPhone before we release it out in the world to make sure, is there something I'm not seeing? But at the end of the day, if it looks good across all three of those, the likelihood that most of the world will see it like that is high. Now there's going to be that person on that Dell monitor that looks like absolute garbage.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do.
You know, there's nothing you could do. It's an old Dell monitor that just looks all washed out.
Yeah, well, that's the thing with PCs. There is no consistency.
Yeah.
So you could have a Dell monitor, you could have an LG monitor, you could have an HP monitor. Who knows what kind of weirdo monitor you'll wind up with. So it's hard to say. All right, so that was that one. Helen Henry, Erik, has a really good question. How do you figure out where the Milky Way is going to be? And Erik has got a great answer for this.
Well, the best way is photopills. I have a whole class on Kelby 1 on photopills and a whole class on Milky Way.
Yeah, photopills is an app, by the way.
So
it is an app for your phone.
It is. It's an app for your phone or for your iPad or Android device. So it works across all those platforms. What's great about it is you can select the location you're at. So say you're out on location. Now, I will do this beforehand, but let's say you're out on location, you're out there and you're like, oh, where's the Milky Way? I mean, obviously you've got to see stars and it's got to be dark to see the Milky Way. But let's say you had that. What's great about the app is you just take it out, you hit your location, it zooms in, it basically locks into your location via GPS, and then you hit a little night augmented reality button. You can hold your phone up or your iPad or your Android device and you can move around and it will show you when you get to it, there's the Milky Way, there's where it's going to look, and you can know before you even take the shot, that's where it's at. So best thing, photopills.
Now, but what Erik is not telling you is, this is probably not going to happen in your backyard.
No,
you have
that's
to
what
be,
I'm saying. It's dark skies, you got to see stars.
Yeah, you have to be at a location that does not have light pollution, and then it will say it's going to be there. Because if you're shooting in downtown Tampa,
you got
you're never going to see the Milky Way.
Me, I have to get this closest place that I can really go and get something decent right now is Cedar Key, which is 2.5 hours from us, right?
Yeah, my wife flew me there once for lunch.
So, I mean, that's about I got to go 2.5 hours from Tampa. But if you live somewhere on the edge, you might have to only go an hour, you know, so that's what it comes down to. You just got to be dark skies.
Alrighty, hey, we are going to take a short one. Coming up, we've got, of course, more of your questions. The Portrait Conference is around the corner in just a few weeks, so we're going to let you see a little bit about that, and we will catch you after the break. I got some news after the break, too. News, what?
Have you ever gone to the movies and after spending your $30 on popcorn and a ticket, you walked out of the theater thinking, man, that movie was just an excuse to sell toys? But I have started to think that maybe I can look at those toys a different way. And I am a storyteller at heart. And the stories I want to tell are based on those cinematic universes that I love so much. So maybe I could use those toys to tell the stories that I want to tell. The only limit is my imagination. The best part is, you could do the same thing. So join me for my class on unlocking storytelling with toy photography, only on Kelby One.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
Hey, we're back. Scott Kelby here with Mr. Erik Kuna, the real Rocket Man Kuna. Hey, all right, I have some news. I got some news today. All right, so last week, if you watched The Grid, you probably heard me talk about Dave Williams and his new adventure, right? So he's going to go to the Nordic countries. And what was his thing called?
Due North.
Due North. So he's that. There it is, Due North. All right. So he's basically doing this off-grid. He's guiding his own tour to all these Nordic countries. He's got that really cool van that he's coming up with some cool pictures.
Yeah.
So there it is. There's the Wonder Van, and he's going to go all over the Nordic countries and stuff and kind of take you along with him. So go to Due North. It's a YouTube channel, and it's Dave Williams.
That's his website. If you go to Dave Williams,
go to Dave Williams, and you'll find it.
If you just Google Dave Williams.
All right, but so I have some news regarding Dave. All right, so Dave quit his job. Now Dave's been at the same job for 11 years, and I've hung out with Dave at his job in England. So he was based in London. So do you know what Dave's job was?
I do,
because he kind of kept it. He kind of kept it like he didn't really talk about his job ever.
Yeah.
He just said,
do.
"I have." He said he had a boring day
do,
job.
But a lot of people don't.
He did not have a boring day job. He was a London street cop.
Yep.
He was literally like the first time. Yeah, that's Dave right there.
Dave Williams.
Metropolitan Police of London, and he looks much more officer-like than the first time I saw him in. So I was at a pub with my family having lunch, fish and chips kind of thing. And Dave, I'm talking to Dave, and he says, "Hey, I'm right around the corner." And Dave shows up, and he looks like he's on a SWAT team. I mean, he's all kitted out and everything. And anyway, yeah. So his full-time day job was, and he quit. He gave up, turned in his badge, and now and so we love Dave, and we want him to be a great success. He gave 11 years, serving the folks of London, and he's got some great stories, and he has some sad stories, and he's got some funny stories and stuff. But let me tell you that he had a very, very, very hard job, and it made harder by the fact that in London they do not allow police officers to carry guns. So, first thing I did was I gave Dave a gun. That was the very first thing I did. I got off the plane. I'm like, "Hey, I'm from America. Here you go. Here's a 9mm. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. But anyway, he had a really tough job, and, great job on
Yeah.
on your last career, but we wish you tremendous success in your new career. Go to idavewilliams.com and
Yeah, he's got all the stuff over there. Links to the van, links to the show. All
yeah,
that,
and
all that good
and we
stuff.
know Dave personally, and he's, I mean, obviously he's a very talented photographer. We know that. He's a very good writer, but he's a really good guy. He's just a really good person. I've been able to travel with Dave a number of times over the years when we have our team epics meetings, you know, where there's like 10 friends all get together and go shooting in some great location. Dave's always there, and he's just a really good person and really talented. We wish him the very best. So congratulations on leaving your old career behind. And also, Dave writes on every Tuesday. Dave writes the
Travel Tuesday.
the Travel Tuesdays with Dave on my blog at scottkelby.com. Hey, and last Monday, I shared, you can see it right there, an awesome little accessory, a camera accessory to keep your camera level. And yes, there are bubble levels out there, but this one's different and it's better, and it's like $12.
There you
So
go.
check it out. That was last week. Okay, we got lots of comments and stuff coming in. So Kevin Scott says, regarding storage, when my external hard drive gets full using Lightroom, should I leave it connected and add another drive, like copy it to a larger drive, then pull that drive, store it, and start with a new drive? So, Kevin, what I would recommend, because I just recommended this to my friend Paul. Hey, Paul. I recommended it to Paul the other day because Paul was running out of space and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, leave your external drive in, plug in a much, much, much larger drive. So, Kevin, just to save yourself aggravation and trouble, you're going to fill that drive. Whatever drive you buy, it's going to get full. So buy twice the size of drive that you think you need. If you say, let's say you have 4 terabytes now and you're like, it's getting full, so I'm going to buy an 8. Don't buy an 8, buy a 16. Double it up. Drives are super cheap right now. Get a huge drive, plug in that new drive, and move everything onto that drive. Now, here's what I would recommend. If you are not using my Slim system, which is my simplified Lightroom image management system, go watch that class. The whole class is on organizing your images, but you have to organize them correctly before you go into Lightroom. Now, if they're already in Lightroom, it's not a problem, but you're going to change your organization system. It is so easy. It's so simple. Just follow the instructions, but it's called the Scott's Simplified Lightroom Image Management. SLIM is the acronym. Slim system. Super easy, and you'll dig it. But yeah, get a nice big empty drive, drag all of your photos over there. But while you're taking the time to do this, let's organize it as well. John wants to know, Eric, I'm going to Sedona in April, and I'll spend some time at Red Rock Park. Any suggestions on where you can get a good Milky Way shot? He's looked on the 500px, but they don't always give locations.
Yeah, so this is probably the thing that's way harder with the Milky Way, is that like figuring out where to shoot. One, you got to understand that, you know, the Milky Way in April is going to show up only to the southeast, and only like the core will only show up to the southeast area. It's going to be rising there, and it's going to go away pretty quickly, right? Because you're going to have it's early in the season, so you're only going to have the early morning hours, like 4 a.m. to sunrise, to kind of shoot. So that limits the amount of spots. So that's where we have to use things like photo pills or stuff like that. To look for spots, a lot of times what I use is Google Earth. I actually love Google Earth for it, because I'll go on to Google Earth, and then I'll be able to put in a location, right? So I'll be able to go in there. And what's cool about it is on Google Earth, you can turn on the ability to see other people's pictures, which usually have their cell phone pictures and stuff. It's cell phone pictures. In fact, here's a perfect example. That I'm already on the Badlands because I was there a couple weeks ago. Perfect example. So we're looking at these overlooks. So I could see before I went, by clicking on these photos, what those overlooks look like. Now, they're not beautiful photos. A lot of times they're cell phone photos or 360 photos, but it gives me a great reference for what I hope is there, right? So that's what I use all the time, is Google Earth, and being able to see other people's photos, be able to click on it, and be able to see like what that's gonna look like. And it doesn't have to be a winter photo a lot of times. It just has to be, hey, that's what that location looks like.
Yep.
And then you're using things like photo pills to really dial that in.
All right, next question. Hot Pixel wants to know, I'm wondering if anybody has thoughts about entering photo contests. Are there some to avoid because of the rights you give up? Do some people simply avoid those that require you to pay a fee per photo? All right, so I'll take this one. So first thing is, I encourage people to enter photo competitions. I enter them myself. So I think it's a great thing. It pushes you as a photographer. It helps you kind of know where you stand as a photographer. If you enter and never win anything, you know, maybe you're not taking the kind of photos that win contests yet. But it's good on all kinds of levels. Number two, forget about the rights thing. Geez, people write about this. I just want to scream. Look, we run contests. We run the Guru Awards contest. I can't show your pictures. I can't show that you won unless you give me the right to show it.
Yeah, and it's
I'm
not like
gonna
we're
take
trying
your
to like
photo and go sell it.
Take it and sell it. Yeah, we're not.
I'm not going to go. No one's going to do that. No photo contest is set up to steal your photos and sell them to somebody else. But they can't show your photos, and they can't advertise the next one saying, look at these great winners from last time. Maybe you should try. Look at the quality of entries we're getting. They can't do that because you haven't signed off on your rights. They're not trying to rip you off. These internet articles that go into this stuff, I swear, Eric, they make me want to scream.
I mean, maybe if it's like some site that you've never heard about, but like, you know, the Smithsonian photo contest. I mean, come on, it's the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not trying to steal your work and go sell it on a stock site.
And also, virtually no contests are free because putting on a contest costs money. You got to pay for awards. You got to pay for advertising. You got to pay for other. There's a tremendous amount of work. We can tell you. There's a tremendous
we can definitely tell you that there's a lot of work, a lot of money,
and it's a huge
it's a
loss
lot that goes into it.
You have to also, when you charge, you get better quality. Because if it's free, you're going to have people sending in pictures from their phone and their cat, and they're just crazy stuff. When you charge $25 a piece, people take it seriously, and the quality goes way, way up. You've got skin in the game. You should pay. Now, you could see $10. I've seen 10. I've seen 25 an image, and I've also seen ones where they give you it's $50 up to 5, and you can put in 5 images, but they have a limit usually. But yes, forget about the right stuff. Nobody can take your picture anymore without having a lawyer say you better protect yourself.
I mean, but now, in all fairness, certain people can take your picture, but they're not. They're going to be. It's not going to be a big company that's running a photo contest that's going to take your picture. It's going to be somebody on the internet who screen captures your picture and tries to steal it.
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with the contest.
Nothing to do with contest.
They can do that on Instagram.
But I think that's what happens is people go, well, look at Instagram's terms of service, look at Facebook. So they lump everything together like I shouldn't ever share my high resolution photos.
So you're not going to put your pictures on Instagram or Facebook. You're
no,
just going to keep your photos on your drive so no one can see them.
For no reason.
That's what you should do. Keep your photos on your computer so no one can see them. That's the real goal of photography, is to hoard your pictures and not share them. Don't do it. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, we're taking more questions. We got some shout-outs coming up, and it's like that. It's like that. And that's the way it is. So stay the heck back.
Hey everybody, Erik Kuna here, and I'm here with my new class. It's called Telephoto Astrophotography for Beginners. What we're focused in this class is those narrow field, deep space astrophotography shots. And as you can see, we're here in light polluted Tampa, Florida. and we still can capture stunning, amazing images. So anybody can do this, especially if it's something where you have a camera, you have a telephoto lens, you have a tripod. We're going to show you in this class the little things that you need to add to start making shots like this. So join me in my new class on kelby1.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
All right, on the break, I was working on a new desktop startup, desktop screen. Here, I'm working on it if you want to see my screen. Here we go.
That's it.
Working on it. It's not done yet. So this was an iPhone shot, right? These, because someone mentioned I should have a food show. What was the comment?
Food photography, yeah.
I was like, a food show.
With your iPhone.
Oh, yeah. JP says I should do food photography. I do, actually. I just shot some locatelli the other day. If Scott didn't get in, Tim says if Scott didn't get into photography, he'd have a food network. Food network. Hungry I am. Let's see. Hey, Rampton Kazami, Kelby 1 instructor and a really cool dude, says, I swear by Google Earth, best thing ever. He is a landscape photographer.
You're a landscape, Milky Way,
yep.
Anything where you're going out on location, it is, even a portrait photographer that's just looking for interesting backgrounds around the city, it is amazing.
Yep. Hey, did you go over you went over the giveaways for today, right?
Yes.
Did you tell people how to enter for giveaways?
Yes.
All right, great. We got some howdies. Let me say the first one. You can say the rest.
Yeah.
Looks like old Larry Grace.
Yep, Larry Grace.
Says, good morning from what I can only imagine is a very hot Phoenix. Good morning, Larry.
Right, and then we got Lou joining us from Munns Park, Arizona. We got Lena all the way from Northern Ireland in Belfast. And then we got Dave R. from Central North Carolina. We got Frankly Me from Germany. Mark from Toronto, Canada. Glenn from Calgary. Dan from saying
Just
hello.
Dan.
I know Dan.
Just Dan from someplace.
And I know where Dan's from.
Dan
He's
over
from
there.
Europe over there in Switzerland. So there you go. Mariana from England joining us. And hey, we talked about Ramy's in the comments.
Ramy says it's getting cold up
and
here.
And that's if you have any questions for us, just ask them in the comments. Christina's picking them up right now and going to add more questions for us over here. And was there any other questions that you had right now? How often should you post on social media?
Okay, so this is a really good question, but it's a totally moving target.
Yes.
Because the algorithms change. I can give you what my latest intel is, and I don't follow it, so.
Okay, what's your latest intel?
Give me a second. I'm going to give you the latest intel. This is from Instagram, all right? But this is actually from Instagram, so give me a second here.
I mean, I will. No matter what the algorithms are, I will say that, like, the thing with social media, they do like you to post often, just not too often.
Right.
So
okay.
it's that marriage of that, of often but not too
All
often.
right. So how long? Let's talk about Instagram.
Yep.
Basically, one a day is ideal. So one photo a day, not not 8, not 10, not 20. They're really big. So Instagram right now, to let you increase your numbers in general, they want you to do 3 videos a week. Just that's it. 3, but they want you to do videos, Instagram stories, 8 to 10 a week. But preferably 2 a day. So 2 Instagram stories a day, 1 photo a day, 3 full-length videos a week. It's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. So you're going to have to use, let's see. But also, their big thing, and we know this is true, is consistency.
Yes,
whatever you
what it
decide
is.
you're going to do, you got to do it. Now, Dave Williams has got some great classes on Kelby One.
Yep.
On building your social media brand. So if you want to, since Dave came up today, go and do that. Go and watch Dave's classes.
Well, and that's what it is. It really comes down to it's coming into routine and not doing it so much. Like the worst thing I think you could do is like take like 20 photos in one day and just push them out. Like here's all my photos. You could just spread that out over 20 days and you'd have better results if you spread that out.
Absolutely. Hot Pixel wants to know, I was out shooting the moon and I really need to know how slow you can shed your shutter speed even if using a tripod. Yes, you will be using a tripod.
Yes.
To freeze the movement of the moon. 1/15th of a second, 1/30th of a second faster, Mr. Kuna, Moon Man?
1/250th of a second is
1
where you
2/50th.
really want to be. However, you're going to have problems if it's at the horizon and you're meeting it with something else. Like if you're doing like a building with the
Right.
moon or something, you might have to drop it lower. And at that point, what I would say is boosting your ISO. I know that's the problem that we always have is we don't want to boost our ISO to get that shutter speed up, but that's really what you have to do. But you want to be camping out at least at 1/250th, 1/125th. You can drop it way slower, but it also matters too. Are you telephoto? If you're telephoto, that's 1/250th at least. If you're wider, yeah, you could drop it down to like 1/30th of a second, no problem. But if that's got to be a wider shot, but you got to realize when you go wide on the moon, it's going to be a little speck in the photo. It's going to look like a little speck.
Little speck. Okay. Question from Daniel is, what do we think about the Canon R3? Well, neither of us have the Canon R3. So I will say this. There's talk on the web, and I see it all the time, that it is like the single greatest camera ever made.
Yep.
I can't vouch for that. I've never tried it.
Nope.
I will say this. I have its baby brother, the R6. It is hands down the best Canon camera I have ever owned, period, by far, not even close.
I would agree with that right now.
For the money, for the value, Nikon did this once with the Nikon D700. Where they released a camera that was too good for the price. Like it was ridiculous. Like
Correct. Like the R6 is that convergence
Yes.
of value and price. It's like boom.
That's just ridiculous. And Nikon had done it with the D700 and Canon's done it with the R6. The R5 is great, but that would have to be, you'd have to be really into video. It's really a video camera.
Yeah, or
the R3,
into I need a crop, or if I need a crop.
The R3, it's just more money and more everything than I need to spend. Like I'm so in love with my R6. It's just.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a spot for it. It's going to go definitely after.
Don't get me wrong.
Though
there were people that camera was made for. So that's the R6, which is $24.99, and you can get deals on it. Sometimes you'll get $100 off or whatever.
Yeah, but the R3 we're talking about is over twice that cost.
Yeah, it's like over $6,000, right?
It's around 6,000.
It's around
retail.
$6,000. It's expensive. So there's that. So. That's what I would say is, there are people that if you've got the money, it's $6,000. If you got the money and you want the greatest camera out there,
that's it.
That's it right there. You're
For a
looking at it
Canon.
on the screen.
For Canon.
That's from B&H, from Canon.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're a Canon shooter,
If
right?
you're a Canon shooter, that's the camera.
Yeah.
That's the
and if you want to spend
Mondo.
half that and have an unbelievable camera, get the R6. If you're a video person, get the R5.
Or if you need ridiculous resolution. I think that's the only thing with the R5 that I hear a lot of photographers talking about is the resolution.
Right.
But I
don't like super high resolution.
No, but there's maybe a time and a place for that, but I just don't.
Hey, I was when I was at Oshkosh, my buddy Andy Lay was there, and he's a Sony shooter shooting some 50 megapixel thing. Dude, he's cropping
and that's why I'm saying it. When you get into cropping,
on the cockpit. I'm like,
Yes.
oh.
Cropping is where that's where the R5 comes in, is for a photographer, I think. For a photographer. Plus, you're getting all those video features, which are nuts.
All right, couple more
Right.
questions. Blake says, I have nerve damage in my hands and feet, and I can't operate a mouse or the pencil pad, so not like a tablet. Trying to use Photoshop Sky Replacement. Will Photoshop add the feature to the mobile app, or is there another iPad app? I don't see them adding it anytime soon.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. I don't see it coming because it's a sticky feature.
Now, you can get adapters to adapt your computer to like a touchpad, you know, or you can also use your iPad as a second monitor and do it that way. You can use an iPad as a second monitor to your Mac.
So in my studio at home, I use a trackpad. I don't use a mouse. It is my mouse. I use my finger like I do because I'm so used to it on my laptop that I use Apple makes a trackpad. Yeah. Now, I don't know if you're an Apple user, but you're asking about an iPad app, so I'm figuring you are. So
yeah, but you can also use your iPad or iPad Pro as a second monitor to your system, and that would be a way to do it, because then you could just move Photoshop over to that second monitor and use Photoshop as a touchpad, just like on an iPad.
All right, we have another question. Unfortunately, the person's name is written in a different. It's not written in Roman alphabet, so I don't know what your name is.
It's definitely Cyrillic.
Yeah, it looks like Cyrillic. Yeah. So can you share any tips of shooting during the wrong time with harsh sunlight? I've got one tip for you besides why are you shooting at the wrong time, but that's
the first thing.
There's a particular look that happens when you get that bright, sunny thing and all. And I'm going to give you a tip that you can do in post-production that you'll be surprised what a difference it will make to bring back color saturation. Because that one of the reasons why you don't want to shoot at that harsh sunlight wrong time is it washes out color. You lose contrast, you lose the color. It does all kinds of bad things. It's not just harsh shadows. It is harsh shadows, but it's beyond that. It's a loss of contrast and a loss of vibrance of color. The trick is simply go to the blacks slider and drag it to the left to increase the amount of blacks. Yeah. You will be shocked what that one thing will do to a harsh daylight drama shot. Yeah. You will be really surprised. You're thinking, I'm just adding blacks. Is that really gonna? Go try it, and I think you'll be surprised. That's my tip. I mean, if it's harsh daylight. Now, one thing you can also do camera-wise, and I do this routinely if I have to shoot in bed, is to underexpose. Yeah, I was about to say that. Intentionally underexpose. Shoot under by a stop or a stop and a half because it'll suck some of that brightness out. And also in post, you can drop your highlights to -100. That'll help as well, but none of those will really make the difference that black slider dragging it to the left will do, either in Camera Raw or in Lightroom. Got to take a real quick break. We just have a very short segment coming up. If you've got any last-minute questions, now's the time to ask them, and we're going to reveal the winners of our prizes today. So stick around. That's coming up next.
My name is Rami Kazemi, and I have a brand new and a very exciting, refreshing class for you this time that focuses on color. This is a very specific class on how to use the different simple tools that come with Photoshop to make the colors pop. But not only that, we're also going to be focusing on how to create separation, because understanding color harmony is very important. And when you understand color harmony, then you can really start to create separation in your photographs and give it that depth that a two-dimensional file is missing. Now, I don't want you to think that this is only for landscapes. Because when you talk about color harmony, you could use these techniques on anything really. It could be portrait, it could be any style. We're going to be talking about different real-life photo examples, and we're going to go through them, and we're going to take these photographs to the next level. I want you to come and join me on my latest class exclusively at kelby1.com.
Would you believe us if we told you that you could fit studio lighting in your pocket? Well, Lytra has made it possible. Lytra is a global award-winning brand that designs and manufactures professional-grade camera lights that are compact, rugged, and waterproof. Whether you're using Lytra gear in a photo studio or underwater, Lytra's mission is to provide content creators with flexible and unlimited lighting tools that can mount on any camera, anywhere. Their lights come with a high CRI or color rendering index, making them some of the most color accurate lights in the industry. Due to the light's compact and rugged design, photographers are able to use the lights in ways that their studio lighting never could. Lytra has also made multiple lighting accessories available to fit your every need as a creator. Whether you're shooting portraits, nailing a product shot, or even flying your drone, they have got you covered. Lytra enables photographers and filmmakers to focus on their craft and create something beautiful. What will you create?
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
That was kind of funny. Hey, we're back. Scott and Erik are here. We're taking any last-minute questions, but before we do that, let's get some prize winners. Erik, who won some of our fantastic prizes?
I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I can't. That's not a touch screen where I can just move it.
Oh, yeah. So Christina left the set.
Yep, she left us.
Well, it's just you and me, Erik.
So anyways, yeah.
We can't see questions. We can't
so
see
yeah,
comments.
that R6 is pretty awesome, huh?
How about that R6?
How about that R6?
How about that?
It's really good.
It's like a higher
really
number.
Good.
Oh, here we go.
Uh-huh.
Here, okay. Whoa.
Oh, we're going to do the prizes.
Prizes.
There is a question too.
Okay. All right, so Bill's asking, is there any big difference regarding the lenses used on the R6? I know I can use my DSLR glass with an adapter ring, but it seems like the lenses being made by Canon for mirrorless are even better.
The reason why it seems like that, Bill, is simply because they are better.
They are.
They're one of the reasons why, like, and we saw a presentation from Canon about this, was they're able to get the glass of the lens closer to the sensor with a mirrorless body than they were having to put this mirrored contraption.
Yeah, they did all the math with us, like the convergence detail,
Yeah, convergence.
the tangent of the curve and all that. But it is better.
the fluctuation of the
flux capacitor, the way it works.
Yeah, the flux capacitor is big. So anyway, they actually are sharper. And like, for example, I just got instead of having a 16-35, which has been my go-to for 20 years, now I have a 14-35. So they're not only making incredibly, ridiculously laser sharp glass, but it's not cheap. The glass is not cheap. But no, I got that was around $1,200.
Yeah.
So it's not terrible for a lens.
Not terrible.
For a good lens. So I'm down to 2 lenses. I have not replaced my 7200. I'm going to have to.
Yeah, I mean, that's where, but it's hard. It's hard when you've spent that money. Now, that's where I would say take that 7200, offload it, take that money, and then apply it to the.
I know. Don't get me started.
The used
anyway,
market is pretty strong.
The lenses, in many cases, are smaller. Not all cases. In many cases, they're lighter, but they are generally sharper. Now, I shoot with my mirrorless and use my DSLR lenses all the time. It's not like I go, oh God, I got to put a DSLR lens on there. But they are a little sharper if you get the mirrorless ones. They are.
Yeah, they are.
But it's not like I'm like, oh God, these are terrible. I don't feel bad about it.
But you could run your files through a sharpener later and gain back most of it.
And ladies and gentlemen, I have some breaking news. Kathy Porupski is on the set. She's just off the set, but the wonderful Kathy Porupski. And, well, that's...
It's breaking news.
Breaking news. Kathy Porupski on the set is always breaking news. Nice to see you, Kathy.
Thank you, Scott. Good to see you.
And all right, let's see what else we got. We got one more. This is from Mariana. She says, how do you manage to deal with weather issues when you're shooting the Milky Way when the planned forecast is for clear skies and setting your on location overcast. This is really easy.
This is you just
go to dinner early.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, that's why weather is the like we're talking about planning where you're going to shoot and the weather. That's the bigger part of the Milky Way and like figuring that out. But I would say that like you can embrace it sometimes. Clouds are not a bad thing as long as you can see the Milky Way and you can have those textures with the clouds. It's okay. It's like anything, but that's where sometimes people think I got to have completely clear skies. Some of my best photos have a little clouds and they have the little texture up there. Yeah. The same as like you wouldn't want a bald landscape during the day. So it's okay to have some of that. But I would say, like Scott said, you kind of fight another day. You kind of
live to fight another day. More breaking news. More breaking news. All right, Platypod has a Crave contest, and they've extended the deadline to November 1st. If you have not entered, they also now offer a $500 B&H gift card to the grand prize winner. In addition to the other great prizes, go to Platypod, PLATYPOD.com.
You're going to enter your Pecorino Romano cheese photo.
Dude, I don't want to enter it because it's unfair.
It's unfair, yeah.
Because if anyone sees that picture, it'll make them buy it, and then they buy it, and then they're just going to have to give me the prize.
Yeah.
Because Pecorino Romano is a prize unto itself.
All right, speaking of prizes, we got to give away the prizes.
Let's give them away, Eric. Go.
We got Bob Pastras has won your book, the 7-Point System book. And then we have Stephen Everhart is winning the noise plugin, which I believe is the no noise plugin because you wouldn't want to. Well, you might want a noise plugin, but I think you'd want the no noise plugin.
Is this the AI noise from On One?
That is the no noise AI from On One.
No noise AI.
Super fast. I mean, like almost like magical fast. Where I'm like, I've been using other noise programs. I'm like, what are they doing? Because the other guys take 7 to 10 minutes, and that takes like 7 to 10 seconds. It's amazing. Anyways, Kevin Greenhorn is going to win the DxO Nick collection, and then Blake Morgan is winning the Platypod kit and the 50% off. So there you go. Just email us over at gridprize@kelby1.com. We'll verify your information and then send you out your prize.
Well, there you go. All right. Any last questions? I have a question for you, Mr. Kuna.
Yes.
What happened to your Tesla?
I got rid of it. The market for the Tesla Model 3, which I had, was exploding, and somebody offered me a lot of money for it, and I got out of it.
Wow. Yeah. You still have another Tesla, though, right?
Yes. So.
Erik Kuna has so freaking much money. It is ridiculous.
Oh, my goodness.
It is absolutely. How do you think he just can go all over the world and shooting stuff everywhere? And he's rides some electric thing to work every day. And he's got every camera and a lens known to man. And
yeah, right. If I could, I would have that R3 if I could.
Guy's like printing his own money. Anyway. But
you need to nowadays.
Anyway, so he's still. Don't worry, folks. He still has a Tesla, so he's okay.
Yeah, we're okay.
You still buy from Amazon? That's okay?
Yeah.
And what was the other thing? It was Amazon, Tesla, and SpaceX.
SpaceX, yeah.
That's his big three.
Yeah.
All right. So we got to run. What's coming up next week? Do we know?
No.
Nope. We don't know. But we'll be here. I'll try to be on time next week. I'm gonna.
We're gonna be busy because we're gonna be preparing for the portrait photography conference. So
that's what made me late today. I was so in the zone.
No, I'm telling you, there are some. I'm really, like I said in the beginning of the show, like I'm really excited about some of these classes. Like I've been hearing about the instructors are gonna do like live, like with their shoots and stuff. Like it's amazing.
Doing shoots.
I know. I've heard about yours too.
Now, I can't do them all live. I have to go on location and do stuff, and so there's some things will have to be.
You're the. But
none of them are dead.
You're the one exception. He gets to go on location.
Well, I have to. Anyway, but I added a new class to the conference, so I'm now adding a class on introduction to compositing. But I think why it's important is I'm going to start with the shoot in the studio. Like here's how I would set up the lighting for maximum success and everything. I'm going to show you exactly what I would set up, lighting-wise, set-wise, and everything to get maximum success. Then we're going to take the images that I shot, and then I'm going to go into Photoshop and show you because it's a Photoshop thing. It's not a Lightroom thing. It's a Photoshop thing. I'm going to take you through the whole process, and when we're done, we'll have multiple different. I got lots of different, including some techniques I haven't shown before.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I got great classes. I got a class that's going to be an incredible pain in the butt to pull off. It's my top 20 portrait photography tips.
Oh yes, Christina told me about.
It's going to be a massive pain in the butt, and Kathy Perepsky will probably be helping me and Julio and anybody other live bodies we could get in the studio to pull this. It's quite a. But
they'll do it. They'll do it.
Oh, we'll get it done. We'll get it done, but it's going to be like a high wire act because another thing is you got a 1 hour segment.
Yep.
You can't run over because you got another instructor starting in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So you can't just go, oh, we'll run over. It's no problem. Now, on my pre-conference workshop the day before, I'm going to run over like mad, but it's okay because there's nobody coming after me.
Yeah, there's nobody behind the network. We don't have to report to the network.
We don't have to report to the network on that day. But the next day, everything. And
it's kind of like the grid. We're 7 minutes over now.
Yeah. I got a class also on mastering the one light portrait. So it's all using one light. Now, it's the first class on the first day. So I am starting off with like square one. So if you have not ever, if you ever thought, I'd kind of like to do portraits, go watch this class because it will set you up for the whole rest of the conference because I'm going to give you my exact settings, my settings for the lights, I'm going to turn you on to some really cool stuff. And at the end of that hour, you're going to go, man, I'm glad I came to this conference because I'm going to set you up for success.
And then right after that, you walk into Joe McNally teaching you how to master window light. So it's like, oh my gosh, you got boom, boom.
Oh yeah, dude. There's so many great instructors and great classes. So I've got 4 classes. The day before on the pre-conference day, I have what makes a great portrait, which is that 33,000 feet look at not so much settings and stuff. There, I get a little into it, but it'll be more about the stuff that really makes great portraits.
Like setting you up for success the whole conference. Yeah.
Yep.
Like what to look for.
Then the next one is all that hands-on stuff. The next class, the very first class I'm teaching, first day, first class, is all the settings and the lights and all the pragmatic stuff. Then I've got the 20 tips, and I've got the compositing. I'm so excited. I'm just excited for my classes. I'd love for you guys to come. Also, if you know somebody that you think should go, drop them a note and say, have you checked out this conference? Go to kelby1live.com, click on Portrait Conference. But tell them about it. Tell them to come and check it out. They're going to love it, and it's archived for a year. You can go back and watch any classes you missed. There's 2 tracks, 2 simultaneous tracks, 2 days in a row, plus the pre-conference day, plus the after-hour sessions. You get all of it archived for a year. That's a lot. And retouching. Yeah. With like Christina's shirt. Yeah. She's so good. Yeah. That's all I can say.
There we go.
Well, my friends, the time has come for us.
You're going to be 10 minutes. We're going to be 10 minutes over, but the network does not care.
The network does not care. Mr. Kuna, thank you for sharing your stuff today and for covering for me when I was indisposed.
Anytime.
Indisposed. How about now? Anyway, here's wishing you and all my crew here that were wonderful to come in and work with us today a fine, fine day. Have a good one, everybody.